Lead us in a pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Deacon Michael Bonacore is going to say our revocation, then we're going to say a few words about Deacon Michael Bonacore.
Let us begin as we always do in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. God of power and might, wisdom and justice, through you authority is administered, laws are enacted, and judgments are rendered. I ask you to assist with your spirit of counsel, wisdom, and justice the members of the Riverhead Town Board. Give them wisdom in every decision. Help them to think clearly. Grant them discernment and common sense. They'll be strong, effective leaders. Guide them to follow your principles and not their own, for the decisions greatly impact the lives of those who live in this community. And finally, Father, I ask that you watch over and bless those who protect and serve this community, the members of our police department and fire department. Protect them from all harm and lead them safely home to their loved ones. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. I'd like to have the town board, if the chief of police would come up, and I want to introduce you. Deacon Michael Bonacore is the gentleman we appointed to be the police chaplain. And I don't know that the board, some of you have met him, some of you have not. He's also the Riverhead Fire Department chaplain.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. I could have used you when I was there.
Your job? I thought it was my
Thank
job.
you very much.
Oh, wait,
I
so
could use you when I was still there.
I don't think we've ever had a police chaplain. I don't know if you want to say a few words about where Michael Bonacore comes from.
The supervisor's correct. I think this is our first chaplain, at least for me. I've been there 30 years, so it's the first time that I know we've had a chaplain. And I know Deacon Bonacore here for a long time, probably about close to 10 years. His children and my children were actually in some of the same grades at St. Isidore's school. Mike is a great guy. He's a family guy. He's got 3 beautiful daughters, married to his lovely wife, Raina. He's Mr. Insurance by trade, correct?
And by email.
And by email too, that's correct. He's got a master's in theology, correct?
And education.
And education, and he actually took the hard course in the deacon. So we're getting a first class guy here. He's got counseling, crisis counseling, from Nassau County PD.
Right.
What else do you have there?
And just, you know, a lot of, I'm a member of the New York State Fire Department Chaplain Association.
He's also a Riverhead Fire Department chaplain.
Yes.
But most of all, what's great about Mike is that he's a regular guy. And he's got a motorcycle.
Yeah.
He usually wears a do-rag. That's how we all know him. He doesn't have that on today.
Yeah, it's a little odd to see you, Mike, without the do-rag.
You know.
But what's really great is when you talk to Mike, he makes you feel really good. And we're very fortunate to have him as our first
You need a
chaplain.
do-rag.
Well, I was thankful. I love Riverhead. I love the community. I love the fire department. I love living here. So to serve this way is an honor. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Appreciate it.
Again. Thanks again. Thank you again.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks.
All right, and we have one other. You know what? These microphones actually work. You're picking that up, and that's a good thing because the other ones don't work that well. We have another special guest. Buster is going to be coming in. Can we bring Buster back? In our attempt to adopt dogs at the animal shelter, Buster is a returning dog, and we didn't get Buster adopted, and I think the owner of Buster's in this room someplace. Come on, look at this dog. How old is Buster?
About 6.
Buster's about 6 years old. He's a good dog. Good with kids, good with other dogs. Doesn't necessarily want to be on that leash. He's housebroken, and likes Denise Civiletti, who I think you have a couple dogs.
I have 3 already. 3 females, I think that's what he smells.
I was going to say, you can't have 3, you should have 4. So if anybody in our listening audience wants to come to our animal shelter, Buster is available for adoption, and he's a good dog, and he just wants to get out in the yard and run.
Good with other animals too, eh?
Anything else we need to know about Buster? Good with other animals. Good with kids. Good with animals. Come on, somebody in this room wants that dog. Come on, Dave, Chief. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
everything all right?
Yeah, I just wanted to double check. Yeah.
We are one council member short. George, Councilman Woodson had a death in the family. Gabrielson, sorry. Gabrielson, Woodson. There's too many Georges. Councilman Gabrielson had a death in the family and is upstate. I think the funeral is actually today. So we.
The town attorney today.
Town attorney's here. We wish him and his family the best.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
We get.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes of the February 15th town board meeting. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
This on? Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
The minutes are approved.
So many pockets.
Okay. Applications, Diane.
Okay, under applications, we received an application from the East End Arts Council for the annual Community Mosaic Street Painting Festival for May 29th. We also received a parade, well, not really a parade, an assembly permit for the Riverhead Central Faculty Association for a 5K run on April 30th. Under reports from tax receiver, total tax collection dated February 16th was $64,228,699.42. Total tax collection dated February 24th, $64,334,170.46. The sewer district submitted their discharge monitoring report for January 2011. Under correspondence,
Got quite a few.
quite a few. Jill Dejewski of Jamesport submitted a letter on the 15th of February regarding Jamesport Manor Inn expansion of restaurant into catering facility. Antonia Valeri of A&V Realty Corporation of Bohemia submitted a letter on the 15th of February in support of the proposed wind turbine on the sewer district property off Riverside Drive. We had 14 letters with expressing concerns over the proposed wind turbine on sewer district property off Riverside Drive, and I will read the names off to you. Eva Salzman of Riverside Drive, David Zamber, River Avenue, Anthony Yarusso of River Avenue, James McAllister and family, Beth Stephan Peterson, Michael Walters and Tara Susswall, Elizabeth and Jerry Sobolewski, Richard Dubal, Barbara Vale, Eugene Fraunhofer, John Rather, Janet and Russell Burgess, Victoria and Albert Woolley, and Lee Eskin. There were 14, all regarding concerns for the wind turbine.
Okay.
And that's it.
Thank you. Michael Walter, without the S, that's my father. But it's not. Are there any reports from the board committees?
No, I remember I was watching television. I have a tendency to watch 22 when I have insomnia and I need to get some rest. But we had a discussion at a work session about the riverfront and whether it was called Almond.
We did get it.
We did research that, right? We found out through the town historian
Georgia
that
Case did.
it was in fact named after Helen Almond, who lived where the Sears building is now. So actually the riverfront is named after her, and it was done in the 90s, actually.
Yeah.
So it is called Almond Park.
Thank that Georgia Case for researching that for us. I called her up. I said, who else is going to know this? All right. Any other committee reports? Okay, then we will move to, where is our town attorney?
Probably at the department head meeting. Start at 1 o'clock.
We will move to our first public hearing, which is scheduled to start at 2:05. 2:05 having arrived, it is a consideration of proposed local law to amend Chapter 108 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Zoning, Subdivision Regulations. And this public hearing is on to reduce the developer recreation fees from $5,000 to $3,000. And that's really the entirety of the public hearing. Would anybody like to be heard on this matter? Yes, Sal.
Sal Mastropolo, Calverton. Can you tell me why we're doing this? I mean, costs are going up, not down. Why are we all of a sudden dropping at $2,000?
This was tied to land costs when the town did the analysis of what it would cost to buy an acre of property. We were in a steeply rising market, and what they did is they tied the number of recreation credits, if you will, for subdivisions to the value of the land, and they extrapolated out that it would be about $5,000 for them to buy recreation credits instead of putting the recreation, it's not a credit, but pay recreation fees, instead of what the alternative is, you can put a recreation facility capable of pocket parks within the subdivisions. And since the land fees have drastically dropped, the board felt it was incumbent that we should drop these for that reason as well.
Yeah, but the amount of available land has dropped as well. So
But
with the
the
supply
value
going
of
down,
land-
the price is going up. So I don't understand why we're dropping the
Price is
fees.
not going up on the land, that's the point. The price is going down on the land, and these fees were tied to the price of the land.
Okay, I have one other question.
All right?
About the fifth line up, it says, "The balance shall be payable in full on the second anniversary date." The balance of what? Are we taking partial payments at the beginning? It almost, after I read it, I almost thought maybe you're taking $3,000 up front and then the balance on the second anniversary date.
We're not changing that part of the code, and I know that's not an answer, but I'm just wondering if the entire section of the code is in here, just where these spaces are. We require them, the planning board is requiring these payments up front. In other
That's
words,
what I
before
thought.
your subdivision map is signed, they require the payments. They used to take, and I think you can still do the passbook or CD, but for the most part, the planning board is requiring them up front.
Now, is this going to open up a can of worms from people that have paid in the past demanding a refund?
Sal, every time we do something, we open up a can of worms,
Well,
so,
That's my point. Why change it then?
well, because.
Why not just leave well enough alone? I don't see all the builders in here.
Well, it's tied to, if you want to truly be fair about something, if this was tied to the value of land, we should continue to tie it to the value of land. If you don't want to just escalate your taxes and escalate your costs, there should be a point where the government can say, hey, wait a minute, the costs have gone down, we should be able to reduce the costs as well. I mean, this is, I don't want to say this is a tax, it's not a tax, it's a fee, but I would think you actually, of all people, would be happy that we were reducing fees.
No?
And it was actually much lower.
Because I don't see anything getting cheaper in this town, including the parks that we're going to put in and maintain. So why take away from the revenue portion of the town?
Yeah, you're entitled to that opinion.
Thank you.
Does anybody else wish to be heard on this matter? There being nobody, I will close. Yes, sir?
Looking for something to say?
Do you want to talk about this public hearing?
I understand Regina Rywalski is up for layoff.
No,
No?
no. This is a public hearing on park and recreation fees.
Oh.
Tara,
I want, she's a
Can you
very
talk to-
valuable woman and
okay,
I,
sir,
I
the
need
chief
her
of,
bed.
sir, the chief of staff is going to talk to you.
oh, okay.
She'll take care of that, and if there's a question, you can come
Thank you
back.
very much.
Does anybody else want to hear, speak on the issue of the park and playground fees? Not seeing anybody, we will close the public comment portion and leave it open for written comment until March 11th. Okay, the next public hearing was scheduled for 2:10. 2:10 having come and gone, this is a consideration of a proposed local law to amend Chapter 108 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Zoning Accessory Apartments. And Jody, we were collecting a fee of $150, but there was no provision in our code to collect a fee of $150.
Yeah, it's just housekeeping.
So housekeeping, does anybody wish to be heard on this public hearing? Not seeing anybody. We will close this public hearing, the public comment portion, leave it open for written comment until Friday, March 11th at 4:30 p.m. in the town clerk's office. Moving right along, the next public hearing is scheduled for 2:15. It's a consideration of a proposed local law to amend Chapter 108 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Zoning, Peconic River Community PRC Zoning Use District 108-147. This section of the code was written in direct response to the the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation designating a portion of West Main Street into a community river designation. So things like the Blackman Plumbing Project can be constructed. So we're adopting this section of town code to sort of mirror what is allowed in the Community Rivers Act designation from the DEC. Does anybody wish to be heard on this one? Trying to extend it out so we get to 220 for the next one.
This is actually a little more lenient, but this is what they gave Blackman Plumbing.
Okay.
And the original incorporation of it as far as the lot coverage and what have you. So trying to make it where people want to come to West Main Street and build businesses, bed and breakfasts, restaurants.
Something. Take down those old buildings and give us something nice. All right. We will close the public comment portion of the meeting and leave this open for written comment until March 11th at 4:30 p.m. in the town clerk's office. The next public hearing is scheduled to take place at 2:20, and 2:19 having arrived, we will read it and then open it. This is a consideration of a proposed local law to amend Chapter 101 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Vehicles and Traffic. These are weight limits on Connecticut Avenue, Line Road, River Road, and Wading River Manor Road. And John, before we open it, do you want to just say it?
This is to protect our roadways. Our roadways are not built like the state and the county roads. They're not 6 inches thick, and we have heavy trucks that are rolling up on our town roads from the expressway to EPCAL. Plus, it is disturbing for someone sleeping at 3 o'clock in the morning, hear a truck run past their house. So what we're doing is we're restricting those large trucks from using the town roads from the expressway to EPCAL.
I'm just commenting on the two of you are so tan from vacation. I, on the other hand, will say it's 2:20. And so we'll open the public comment portion of the hearing. Does anybody wish to be heard on this? I don't see anybody. Just some exciting hearing.
Is this current weight still 8 tons? I thought it was 18,000, 16,000 pounds?
No, it's 18,000. There's a mistake here, it's 18,000.
16 in the.
Is it 16 in the code?
The public hearing.
Is it?
Yeah, I see that. Right.
What?
All right, we'll have to look at that.
I thought it was 18.
I thought it was 18.
Okay, well, that's if it's 8
Well, we'll
tons,
check it.
the 8 tons is correct.
Right.
Yeah, the 8 tons is
So if that 16 has to be changed, that's not a.
No, well, 8 ton is 16, so that's fine.
Unless it's metric tons. Okay, we're just moving right along here. We have 3 more public hearings we can't even start yet, so I will leave this, we'll close the public comment portion of this and leave it open to written comment until March 3rd. Bob, for the next 3, if we move on to some other things, can we open the next 3 all at the same time? If we wait till 2:35, they're all pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah, I don't see a reason why we couldn't.
Okay, so we're going to move on to public comments on the resolutions, and at 2:35 we'll cut that
Might as well run through.
off, and then we'll do the 3. We'll open 3 public hearings at 2:35. Does anybody wish to be heard on the resolutions? Sally, you didn't stand up. I don't know what we would do for 10 minutes. 15 minutes.
Resolution number 5, the CDA one. You just have a typo in the 4th line of the second whereas.
4th line of the section.
Typically qualify for a qualify?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chris, you get that?
149.
Yes?
I guess the question is, what are the chances that Suffolk County downtown revitalization funds are not going to be available?
We have other funds. Chris, where are you? Oh, do you want to speak to that? We had other grant money, I think, that we could tap into for this, we thought.
So then you really don't want to say town funds will be the source, right?
What was our
Because you-
thought on this, Chris? There was some other,
This is on the Eastern Arts Council?
yes.
Correct.
We have, the Suffolk County
contracting process takes quite a while, so it's been fully executed, and it's just routing through the county. And just because it's not fully executed for audit purposes, it's something, just language that we put in there that should the funds not be available, we would use capital funds to complete the project.
Were there other grant monies that we talked about, or am I confusing an email with?
We are using other grant funds to supplement the project, but
Right.
the total of the project is the Suffolk County project, the Suffolk County grant funds plus the CDBG grant funds that we put towards the project. We don't anticipate any problem with the county funds coming through.
Okay, and if the county funds don't come through, are we gonna be obligated to do this project?
We would be paying with capital funds, but we've spoken with Chris Kent, and it's just takes a very long time for the contract to route.
But would we be obligated to do it?
We have awarded the contract, and we're issuing the purchase order.
Nice. So that would be yes.
That would be yes.
It would be yes, but technically with any grant-funded project, we are reimbursing the funds after
Right.
we expend them.
I think you have your answer, Sal.
Yeah,
Thanks, Chris.
I guess what I heard is you're gonna be loaning them the money until you get it back from the county.
Correct.
That's the way it normally works.
I was looking out for your interests. I know you don't have it in the budget.
No.
151. There's a budget adjustment in here. I hope we're not spending $40,000 just to spend $700 in programs. Is that just a portion of the budget?
No, what they have in the Bill Rother, I don't know if you're here, Bill,
Yeah.
on the, just listen, you don't have to come up. The bid did not spend money for several years and has a fund balance of some $300,000. Is that where this money is coming from?
Yes.
And so what's happening is they collect about $111,000, $112,000 a year. We've been allowing the bid to do more, and so we're taking the $40,000 out of the fund balance to do more, and that's what this is doing.
So, all right.
We're overspending in the bid.
No, I guess my only
Bring
concern
people
was if
downtown.
you look at this, it almost looks like they're spending $40,000 in advertising and $700 in programs.
Yep.
Well, they are spending $40,000 in advertising.
But they're spending a lot more in programs.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Oh, yeah. This is on top of their budget we passed on.
yes.
Okay.
There's
150.
already money in the program account from last year that hasn't been spent, I believe.
158, there's no mention of a fee on the extension. I'm assuming that we do charge a fee.
See it?
Usually we put down that, a fee's been paid and deposited.
I don't think we charge the fees on the extension.
on special permit.
No?
Yeah.
Okay.
You really want us to
Maybe we should be looking
tap
at that.
into some money. There's
Well,
also
it
two-
creates work. I mean,
Well, this one didn't. This really just created, this was just this resolution and a couple emails.
that's it.
There are two resolutions we're going to take off the floor. One is to execute an agreement with an employee, which we really can't give more than that. And the other one is Councilman Dunleavy's been working on this Chapter 108 for assisted living communities. So I don't know if anybody wants to comment on those. I don't know if they're on the back table, but there are. That is that one. Do you want to put that, Tara, that assisted living community one on the back table in case somebody wants to take a look at it? Okay, does anybody else wish to be heard on resolutions? Well, Diane, you know what, let's take public comment, because then we're gonna get in the middle of resolution. You think we can get them all done? Yeah, all right, let's take them up. Let's take them up. Yeah, let's do them.
Yep.
Chris, you want to introduce the CDA?
Well, I'd like to close the town board meeting, make a motion to close the town board meeting, and open up the CDA meeting. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
CDA resolution number 5,
No,
authorizing.
we have to close the meeting. Go ahead, that's you. Sometimes we do an all in
Sorry.
favor, aye.
Giglio,
Yes.
Wooten,
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter,
Yes. That's known as the Civiletti vote.
Civiletti. Town board meeting is closed.
Okay, it's all yours.
Okay, resolution number 5 authorizes the extension of due date for requests for proposals for developer of workforce housing unit and authorizes town clerk to publish and post extension of due date as amended with the second whereas to remove for qualified.
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio,
Yes.
Gabrielson, absent, Wooten,
Yes.
Dunleavy,
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
The resolution was therefore duly adopted, and that completes the business of the CDA.
Motion, John?
I make a motion to close the CDA meeting and reopen the Riverhead Town Board meeting. So moved.
We get a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please. Back to you, Diane.
Again, Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
The town board meeting is reopened. And we'll start with resolution 149.
2010 East End Arts Council Site Improvement Project. 2010 Site Improvement for the East End Arts Council. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 150.
150 is a budget adjustment for the 2010 Local Government Records Management Improvement Project. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 151.
Business Improvement District budget adjustment. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 152.
Awards bid for 23-foot pump-out vessel. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 153.
Authorize submission of Main Street Grant Program application. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 154.
Resolution calling public hearing regarding lateral water main extension for G&Z Retirement Community Subdivision. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 155.
Authorizes execution of contract with Seed Plan Administrator. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 156.
156 amends hourly rate of pay for certain part-time employees. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
After speaking to the supervisor about these changes and the number of calendar days that these people actually work, I will vote yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes, we're paying them less hourly because of one more day in this year than last year.
Vice versa. That's true.
I vote yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 157.
Approves request for a leave of absence. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 158.
Extend special permit of Theodore Cohen, single-family resident. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 159.
Authorize the submission of Main Street grant application to the New York State Division of Housing and Community Renewal. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 160.
Authorization to publish advertisement for fertilizer and lawn chemicals for the town of Riverhead. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 161.
We're going to make a motion to table this one.
Yes.
All right, make a motion to table this resolution 161. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded as to table.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
They've resolved the issue, that's all.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes. We think
Resolu-
they've resolved the issues.
Resolution 161 has been tabled. Resolution 162.
Accepts 100% security of Lowe's Home Center. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes, and I want to welcome them to the town of Riverhead.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 163.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute an amended agreement authorizing the town to accept funds from Suffolk County Office for the Aging for the purpose of supplementing the town's supplemental nutritional assistance program. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 164.
Offer support to the New York State Legislature to amend the Public Authorities Law in relation to the creation of the Peconic Bay Regional Transportation Authority, Senate Bill number S 1450 and Assembly Bill number A 1403. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Sorry.
Okay. That was a yes. Okay. Resolution adopted. Resolution 165.
It's the same one, one for the Senate, one for the Assembly.
Well, that's, it's different bill numbers. This offers support to the New York State Legislature to amend the general municipal law in relations to the creation of the Peconic Bay Regional Transportation Council and to provide for the repeal of such provisions under expiration thereof. That's the Senate Bill S 1459, Assembly Bill A 1412. So moved.
Moved and, did you second it? I'm sorry. You're seconding this one.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 166.
We're not taking the time out. We ever have timeouts?
When I was a bad kid, I guess.
No, I didn't say I'm putting you in timeout.
Your bite was there.
Yeah, okay with this. You want to have Anne Marie come and talk about it before you vote on it?
Well, it's just calling for a public hearing, but I
That's
have
true, yeah.
some concerns, that's
It's a
all.
very good thing. Put a public hearing and we'll talk about it.
And if there's changes, then
No,
we'll
we
have to go
don't
for
have-
another public hearing.
Just because you go public hearing. doesn't mean it's public hearing.
We're in good shape. I think it's a good thing. We like to get it moving. Explain why.
Okay, so
Okay, let's
resolution-
let's move back. We're done with our timeout. Where were we, Diane?
We're still at
Sorry.
Resolution 166.
Yeah, that's good.
166, wait, I'm on 165, okay.
Authorizes the town clerk to publish and post a public notice to consider a local law to amend chapter 26 entitled Officers and Employees of the Riverhead Town Code. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes for the public hearing.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 167.
Authorize town clerk to publish and post notice to bidders for dry hydrated lime, calcium hydroxide. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 168.
Authorize the town clerk to publish and post notice to bidders for corrosion control chemical PO4. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 169.
Authorizes publication of display ad regarding attendance at Suffolk County Police Academy. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes, this is good. If anybody out there wants to be a part-time police officer, this is their opportunity to go to the Suffolk County Police Academy and be certified, but you have to pay for your own attendance.
What do you mean, good luck, you got to the police academy.
Twice.
Are you a part-timer?
No.
Say that.
So moved. Yes.
No, that's a yes.
Whatever it
Okay.
is.
Yes, that's correct. Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 170.
Pay the bills. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
All right, well, before we have two we're going to take off the floor. I think there's one off the table. Tara, Resolution 166, can you put that on for work session to have Anne Marie brief the board about what that is. Well, I mean, because, yeah. I want to bring everybody else up to date on it. We're only moved for the public hearing, but we'll be good. Okay, so.
I make a motion that we take two
Resolutions off the floor, okay?
So move.
Which of the resolutions authorized the supervisor to execute an agreement with an employee?
171.
and- Which is 171 and 172.
It's a retirement committee.
Will be authorized the town clerk to publish and post a notice to consider a local law to repeal and replace Residence RC District Retirement Community of Chapter 108 entitled Zoning of the Riverhead Town Code. Get a second to take that off the floor?
I'll second to take off the floor.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes for the public hearing.
Well, we're taking it off the floor.
Oh,
We
yes,
did make
take it off the floor.
Oh,
We're taking both off the floor.
okay, so that's what we're doing.
Right.
So Giglio is yes?
Yes.
Okay, Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolutions 171 and 172 are taken off the
Okay,
floor.
so now let's vote on 171 and 172.
Okay, authorize, let's see, Resolution 171 authorizes the supervisor to execute an agreement with an employee. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 172.
Authorize the town clerk to publish and post a public notice to consider a local law to repeal and replace Article XX 111, which is 23, Residential RC District Retirement Community of Chapter 108 entitled Zoning of the Rivertown Code. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
I have a problem with this in that it still states that the property has to be within a certain distance of the sewer district, and I think that if a certain property can accommodate senior housing, that we should take that into consideration, and also take into consideration the number of senior housing units that we're going to be needing over the next 10, 20 years to make sure that we have ample room for these types of facilities. I think that this is excluding a lot of the larger parcels. I don't think that it's going to be enough, but.
It's only a
I mean,
public hearing.
I know, but every time we get to a public hearing, it always turns out that we make changes and then we have to republish and post. And it always seems to be a problem, so.
I like it this way.
If we
I know you
make
do, but I
changes,
don't.
if we make changes,
That's why you have a vote.
that's it.
I don't want to see a retirement community in Wading River, Aquabog, or Jamesport. I want to see it in our commercially developed area like Route 58, Route 25. I'd like to see one on West Main Street where it's sewered. I don't want to see it in those other hamlets. I think I might have made a comment in the master plan about what I thought about that point. I won't make that comment again. So we have to vote. You're in the middle of your vote. I'm assuming that's a no. Well, I shouldn't say that.
Well, I mean, if my comments at the public hearing are going to be taken into consideration, and if they need to be, this needs to be changed, then I hope it won't be a problem, so.
Well, there's 5 town board members. If 3 of them wanna change it, it'll be changed. If 3 of them don't wanna change it, it won't be changed. I mean, that's what we are. Majority rules.
Okay, yes for the public hearing.
Wooten.
What?
Wake up down there.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
You know, some people have told us we're rather entertaining. I don't know if that's true. All right, Jim, did you want to?
Yeah, I have one more. I want to untable, I'd like to untable resolution number 122. I moved untable.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution 122 is untabled.
Okay, I'd like to propose resolution 122. We tabled it last time. I think it's important that we do it now, at least for the interim. It appoints a part-time Animal Control Officer 1 to the Animal Control Division of the Riverhead Town Police Department. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
I thought we untabled it.
We did.
I'm sorry.
We had tabled it, and then we...
And then
Yep, I'm sorry.
we were moving fast.
You guys are moving way too
Yeah.
fast. Okay, we have 3 public hearings. Dan McCormick, why don't you come up and I'm going to introduce them. You are the mover and shaker on these, so you can just give us a brief history. We have 3 public hearings scheduled, one for 225, one for 230, and one for 235. And they are the consideration of a proposed local law to amend Chapter 37 entitled Retirement of the Riverhead Town Code, Article 2, Early Retirement Incentive Program for eligible non-uniform full-time employees. Then the same similar public hearing is scheduled for 2:30, and this is eligible full-time employees who are members of the Civil Service Employees Association. And then 2:35 is a similar retirement incentive, and this is for eligible full-time police officers who are members of the Riverhead PBA. Do you want to just give us a brief description of what we're doing here and see
Yes.
if anybody wants to be heard?
Yes, fine, Mr. Supervisor. As per Town Board Directive, and in recognition of current fiscal restraint, the Board has directed that we again proffer the Early Retirement Incentive Program as the Board has done back in October. It is similar and actually the same in scope as to its intent to encourage individuals who are thinking about retirement to do so at this time with respect to 2 benefits, one involving continued medical coverage for their dependents, for themselves, for a period of 4 years, as well as a $400 monthly stipend for 4 years, effective from the actual date of retirement with respect to those particular options. Again, the highlights involve those individuals who have 20 years of service with their respective agencies and or at least 55 years of age as of March 15th of this year. In addition, as a condition, they would have to submit their intent to retire no later than May 2nd to this board and be actually retired no later than the 26th day of May.
Okay, thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
Does anybody wish to be heard on this matter? There being nobody, I'm going to close this out for public comment. Leave it open for written comment until March 11th. It is the intention, I think, of the board to adopt this on March 15th. So Dan, if you could check the clerk's office on the 11th, if there's no comments, prepare the resolution for the 15th for it to be adopted.
Okay, I will do so.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dan. All right, does anybody, now we open the town board meeting for comments on any matter that we may have jurisdiction over, or even some that we don't. Mr. Hadoff.
Matt Hadoff. When you started the resolutions, you said you were pulling 2 off the floor.
We did.
And then you pulled another one off the floor at the end of the resolutions.
No, that was tabled. We untabled it.
Previous meeting.
So that doesn't get open for public comment?
That was,
After you-
I think you spoke about that last time.
I might have.
I think you did. I'm not positive.
Before I voted, I asked the supervisor if he had a conversation with you about this, and he told me yes.
Last board meeting. Okay. Ms. Mott.
Good afternoon, Sandra Lee Mott. I just have a few things. We just came on Route 58, and I just want some clarification sort of after the fact. I guess Lowe's was not being remodeled, it was being demolished?
Correct.
Oh, okay, that's news to me. My other concern was regarding a letter that was written by Ms. Helger Guthrie on in the January 13, 2011 Riverhead News Review regarding my comments about pollutants in downtown Riverhead from Brookhaven National Lab. Well, I think you all know me well enough. I don't speak unless I know my facts are in order. But I went back and I double-checked it at the library. There actually are pollutants in the river. I did write a letter to the news review. I do not have a computer, so thus they did not, I guess, have the staff to print it. So I'm going to take...
They don't? Wait a minute.
Well...
If you write a handwritten letter to the news review, they don't put it in the paper because if you don't send it by...
I don't know.
Tim Gannon.
But
I'm sure that
And I actually hand-delivered
Can
this
you
to
do
the
me a
news
favor
review.
and get a copy to Mr. Gannon so it's put in the paper?
I
That's
actually
just
hand-delivered
not
it to the news
appropriate.
review.
That's not appropriate for them not to put it in.
Well, for
Mr.
whatever
Gannon will
reason,
make
maybe
sure
they were
it's put in, right,
short-staffed.
Tim?
This will take a minute, I just want to put it on the record here. It says in your January 13, 2011 edition, Helga Guthrie stated that I was wrong regarding contaminants from Brookhaven National Lab being in the Peconic River behind downtown Riverhead. According to Brookhaven National Lab's own cleanup date articles, that's the name of their little brochures, that I read at the library, both stated that plutonium, cesium-137, PCBs, mercury, silver, titanium, and other contaminants were found in samples up to and including those taken at the Route 105 bridge in Riverhead at the mouth of the Flanders Bay, which obviously goes past downtown Riverhead. I was at the town hall meeting for other reasons, not to support or to oppose the garden. My comments were made to alert the gardeners, the advocates of potential health issues. The high rates of breast, prostate, colon, and brain cancers are a known fact. Environmental reasons cannot be dismissed. The river does flood. Look at FEMA's flood zone maps. Love Canal, Chernobyl, Shurm should be remembered. Contaminants have long half-lives. Since, quote-unquote, the garden has been approved, and since Freetown Property and grant money is supporting the project, a full outreach to provide free plots and access and not the proposed rental per space should be used, as well as an open lottery system to choose participants for the limited number of plots. The concept is nice, but as with all projects, the details, full cost, security, liability should be specific. Ms. Guthrie should know that I will always be concerned. Thank you for printing my response. Well, thank you for listening to my response. Just wanted that out there because I've had a number of people comment to me saying, what do you mean? That doesn't sound like you. And obviously it wasn't me. I think it's a wonderful idea, but I really think that that should be checked out a little bit more fully.
Well, they're
And I know it's raised beds.
Yeah, they're raised beds and they're bringing in their own topsoil.
Yes, but they're going to be kicking around the dirt that's already been surrounding there. I'm only asking for health concerns, you know, so.
I think the Cornell Cooperative, I know we met with the Cornell Cooperative Extension and they were sending some dirt samples over there. I don't know what they're analyzing them for, but that was something that Cornell, remember the lady with the grant?
Yeah.
She said that they would look at it. So
yes.
if you remind me, I will.
But on behalf of the
on
town,
that.
I think whomever should be assigned the oversight of that project should remind them that that's really a crucial piece.
It's probably really Jill Lewis.
Well, then it definitely will be handled properly.
That's if
I
I
know.
remember to tell her.
She's-
Can you remind me to tell her? I'm
Can
sorry,
I
she's on
remind you to
vacation.
tell her?
We understand.
I'll be
that you
happy to
said
leave
it-
a note.
We
Thank
understand that you said it out of concern and not necessarily out of opposition to the
Yes.
project.
I was not there for pro or con. It was just over the years listening to different comments and, you know, so on. My other concern was, some of these things are really going back, so forgive me. There's something called the deer shunter. It's a post that reflects onto the roadway where deer, you know, they have regular pathways because that's where they grew up. On December 2nd of 2008, I brought it to the attention of Mr. Woodson, who was the highway supervisor. I brought him a copy. It's from AAA Car and Travel, October 2004. I was looking through some old stuff. And then on February 2nd, 2010, Jim, I gave you a copy of it. I hope that those things would be considered, so it'll be less of a need for me to stop at different places to ask them to move the dead deer off the roadways in the town. It's very difficult to see. Another animal concern I have is the status of the animal shelter, if there's been any changes. I want to say something up front. Lou Cornesi has always been very good to me and to my concerns. Whether it's been asking his advice on particular matters, discussing live dogs that might be running through Glenwood unleashed, or having the need to move dead animals off the street. I don't know what happened at the animal shelter. I'm sorry what happened. I hope it won't be repeated. All I can say is, on his behalf, I appreciated his efforts over the years. I don't know what's going to come out from all of this, but I wanted to put that on public record, you know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But my concern also was about the status. Has there been any changes, you know, or anything moving forward as to
There are some things
privatization or anything?
moving forward. Councilman Wooten and I are having a meeting, not too distant future, about something. If it works out, we think it'll be a good thing, but it's not something we want to publicly discuss yet.
We have a lot of avenues, actually, so we're not.
Jim and I meant mentioned.
Although
he has-
Supervisor and I sometimes don't meet eye to eye, I think we all have the same, we're on the same wavelength when it comes to what is.
Makes sense. You are a
Well,
little
we're always
shorter
agree
than I
on
am.
that. What?
You are a little shorter than I am.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, but I also mentioned to Jim a few weeks ago about a fundraising opportunity that I would wonder if the town would consider at EPCAL, basically a flea market, swap meet type situation for people, private citizens, through many communities here, cannot have any yard sales or anything in their communities unless they're, moving or unless they die and their families have it. And rental space of the area would be like $20 for a car, $30 for a truck, $50 for a van. No big deal about this. All you do is advertise you're going to have it. First come, first serve. You find the space, you set up. You set up with your own tables. I understand there's a porta potty thing on a back thing of a truck. Something to make money.
I'm liking it on Main Street more than I am at
Wherever
EPCAL.
you like it, but you understand that to help people, especially nowadays, financially, and you're helping the animals, you can designate for the cat section, the dog section, or general care. I mean, it could be done monthly so that people would know that it would be something to happen, so people could come to it. And wherever you'd like it, I know that a lot of people have been asking me, does the town have that kind of thing? I'm asking you as a consideration.
That's one of those Main Street things I'm thinking,
Yeah.
Jim, where bring people down to Main Street to sell their wares. Might be something to consider.
But it can't be $185 a space like the country fair type
No.
thing.
No.
That's above and beyond. More like the Bating Hollow Bating Hollow Congregational Church. They
Well,
have.
it would be twofold, to bring people downtown, and people downtown get hungry, so then they could go eat.
True.
Or any federal hamburger.
I also had suggested we had attended that no one in attendance ceremony at Calverton National Cemetery. And I know what you've done to help place the tree, which looks pretty good considering the winter conditions. We go over and visit it. Perhaps I was thinking that the junior ROTC and whatever garden groups you have and so on, perhaps could plant daffodils throughout the Calverton Cemetery, of course with Mr. Persano's approval and agreement, because daffodils are much simpler to handle than a tree. You can get like 2 for $1, and people can sponsor them. And I just know that my mother and I plan to adopt the 3 Air Force people who were brought to Calverton as part of our family, so that
You're saying to plant flowers up at the National Cemetery?
Yeah, they have the tree area that they've just added quite a few trees. I don't know if you've been there recently, similar to the ones that you were all planting.
That might be a good thing for the Boy Scouts to do also.
Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, garden clubs, senior groups, whomever. You could have it on one day. I mean, it couldn't be, daffodils are simple, assign a scout to a senior, and each could be done maybe in memory of either their family members or just someone they don't know. Something, I'm really big, as you can see, into community-oriented things where it's not going to cost an arm and a leg, and people are going to have some forever satisfaction out of this.
I think the Van de Wetterings have been putting
Yes.
daffodils on the corners, because they do come back every year.
Yeah, that was one of the first things that I did when I got into office, which he had been trying to do for years, was plant daffodils in the right-of-ways up and down Sound Avenue. So working with the highway department, we were able to get that done.
It's just cheerful, and we go quite often, and whoever, and those who do not, I just recommend that they do stop in at least during Memorial Day time when the flags are there. Sean, you spoke there, and I know how terribly touched you were by the whole event.
That's one of my favorite places in the town. It's such a sacred place.
It's
the National
extremely
Cemetery. And I was stunned to learn it's the largest by land area in the country.
And the busiest, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know if they have the capacity to become the largest cemetery. They may. I don't know.
Well, they have that extended land that were,
Yeah.
turned over to them after the EPCAL or Grumman was subdivided. So, and I only had one other concern, and it is a very long, outstanding concern. And forgive me, but I can't get here all the time. see if I can find it, if I can, otherwise I'll come back. There it is. Very long time ago, I had requested, out of again a concern for the innocent animals, and after articles were in the paper regarding the placement of animals with the Farr family on Youngs Avenue. And in December 4th of '09, I asked for some investigation, not even a complaint, it was basically a concern that the animals were being provided for housing and food, etc. Not commenting negatively on anybody's efforts. I know that they all have a good heart. They've been involved in all kinds of rescues over the years. But in compliance with, such as the animal shelter must be, with state regulations, etc. I've never had a response back outside of the fact that it was pending, and I gave until August 20th of 2010. It was filed 12/4/09 because they called themselves an animal rescue center in the paper. And August 20th of 2010, I didn't have any response. I was just told it was pending and it was being investigated. I don't know if it's been resolved successfully and that everything's all right up there or not. And all I'm saying is, you don't have to advise me, but if you just could please, be protective of the creatures. That's my intent.
Okay.
Okay?
All right,
Thank you
thank
very
you,
much,
Sandra.
Jen and ladies.
Okay, does anybody else wish to be heard? Not seeing anyone. Oh, Rex Farr, there you are. Almost closed the meeting without you coming up, sir.
Very quick meeting, my gosh.
It was, till you got there.
Yeah, I won't hold you up much longer. I just wanted to touch base, Mr. Supervisor, in lieu of our conversation over a week ago.
You gave me 30 days.
Yeah, I gave you 30 days, exactly, but I heard from the Animal Committee that your proposal, okay, was out there. So I just wanted to touch base, the proposal being somehow shuffling the problem down the road to Brookhaven. You want to work out a deal with Brookhaven and the shelter and so on. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm touching base. It was out there. It was put out there by the Animal Committee.
I don't know how the Animal Committee knows. I don't know that
Well,
they know what.
I think Tim was at the meeting last night. Yeah, you're second in command. Well,
Okay.
the bottom line is, I just want to go on record as saying that is not the solution to the problem. And I think that the Animal Committee, and I will talk for RSVP, who is here. Then
Rex,
tell me the update.
Here's what I'm looking at, since everybody seems
Well, I'm looking
to
at
know
who's sitting
more
in
than I
this
know.
office right now.
What
I'm
I'm looking at is Brookhaven, Mark Lesko and I have had preliminary conversations where they are interested in taking over our animal shelter function. In fact, so much so that they said that you could close your animal shelter, bring all the animals from Riverhead to Brookhaven. I think that is a fantastic idea.
Well, I don't expect you would think anything
preliminary,
otherwise.
Rex, the preliminary numbers that I've discussed would probably save the town about $150,000 a year. It is exactly in line with what Governor Cuomo's been talking about. It's exactly in line with what every single municipality's been talking about. It's combining municipal services. There would be no duplication of effort. We would still have an ACO in this town.
Precisely, and that's the problem there, sir.
Whether it was a Brookhaven
lose this mic right
ACO or a Riverhead ACO remains to be determined. Jim and I haven't had the opportunity to meet formally with Mark Lesko. We've had Supervisor Lesko and I've had these conversations.
Listen, we've heard good things about the Brookhaven situation, no doubt about it. But
And so we
again,
wanna
you're
tie
not
it up.
addressing the problem.
What's
And
the
it is
problem?
going to be totally unacceptable if the present ACO is in any way, shape, or form regarding anything on the animal issue. That's where your problem is. And
Rex,
furthermore, I would do numbers,
What
sir.
happened to the 30 days?
How much do you think it's going to cost the town of Riverhead to do at whatever, $200 a pop? We took in 200 animals last year.
Brookhaven has.
So you're going to...
Rex, Brookhaven has 160 dogs at any one time. Supervisor Lesko, you know, I hate to say it, but this committee could kill this deal by doing exactly what you're doing right now. And maybe
I
you
hope.
want to do that, but the taxpayers need to
From here to
understand, the taxpayers need to understand that this deal could potentially save anywhere from $150,000 to $200,000 a year. And I'm sorry.
Sir.
And the dogs, as you said, would go to you said that shelter was a very good shelter?
Well, it's a low kill, no kill, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
We would send our dogs to a good shelter, save the taxpayers $150,000
What, does this
to
avoid you from
$200,000
dealing
a year.
with the problem, sir?
No, it corrects
What
all
would
the
what?
problems.
So you think that it's the facility that's the problem in Riverhead? That's why you're going to shuffle the problem down. You think it's the facility? It is not.
No, Rex, I think that.
And all
if
you're going
the
to do,
town could save-
Sean, is shuffle the problem down the road. Remember the barge with garbage?
How does
how
it
many years
shuffle
ago?
the
Well, that's the
problem
same
down the
concept.
road?
It's wrong.
Okay, you may think that, but I'm pretty certain, Rex,
But
that
you
the
have the animal
I'm pretty certain
community
that
is
the
also against it.
taxpayers are going to be in favor of saving between $150,000 and $200,000 a year, knowing that the animals are getting as good care, maybe even better care in Brookhaven.
Like I
don't
said-
think, I see it as a win-win.
Okay, well, and
A
if the
win-win-win.
present, as I said, the deal breaker is if the present ACO is still involved in any animal issue, you have a problem. Thank you.
Thanks for the 30 days, Rex.
No, well, you shouldn't have mentioned it at the animal committee.
Yes, we shouldn't have mentioned it
Well,
at the animal committee.
Since it was on the table, I'm going to make sure it goes on record.
Okay, next.
Sal Mastropolo,
Sal, can
Calverton. I have something positive.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you. The fence is open. So you have access to the
Okay.
entire walking path at EBCAL.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you.
How you doing?
I just wanted to talk about the Peconic River Community Zone. I got here a few minutes late. Did you comment about that?
We actually had the public hearing already, and it's open for written comment if you want to make written comments.
But I can't say anything right now about it?
You can, because this is the public comment period, but it doesn't go into the official record unless you make a written comment. But we'll listen to you.
I was just wondering why you don't extend it further.
Could you just say your name for the record?
Mark Osmond.
Thank you.
This is mirroring what the New York State DEC did. This is how far they extended it. There are some efforts to extend it further west.
Baby steps.
It was hard. It really, it's pretty much stays along the community rivers guidelines.
Okay.
Which was hard enough to get after so many years, so
Yeah.
we don't want to bite over them.
It took us over 2 years to get them to agree to extend to Mill Road. We'd have to petition them again.
But we're on the south side of the road.
It's on the south side.
And I noticed you're extending it to the north side.
You're on the
to-
river
up the
side?
Mill
In
Road.
Riverside,
Yeah, we're on the river side.
West of Mill Road?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
you're-
where Bowie 1 is?
Yes.
Yeah, we own the building for Bowie 1.
You are in an uphill battle with the DEC.
Yeah, you're like right on that edge.
So it's the DEC that's the problem?
It's the DEC that has the
DEC
regulations.
yeah. They're the ones that have to agree and let us do it.
Are you going to apply pressure to the DEC to keep this,
Yes,
you know?
Absolutely.
working on it now.
Okay, I appreciate that.
I'd like to extend all the way to the expressway.
Yeah, the town's been stifled because.
Yeah, because I think you should be extended to the Greenview Motel at least.
I'd like to see it right down to the tracks.
Yeah.
What, the person you should speak with, your state senator and assemblyman.
Okay.
Because that happens at the state level.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mark, if you want to stay after a few minutes, I'll talk to you more about it.
Okay, great.
Sandra, you want a second bite at the apple?
Well, now that I have, yeah, pardon me.
Just,
Now that I have some.
not too, we try to limit to
New info,
5
yeah,
minutes.
I
but-
will, I have
Hold
things to
on,
do.
ready? Go.
Yeah, I'd like to put a lot of people on timers, 17 years worth of timing, for free, might I add.
I hear you.
I wish people had heard me years ago, because what you're suggesting now is what I suggested years ago prior to South Holds actually being.
Isn't it a great idea?
I'm gonna just say, let me just finish my thought and then I'll comment on that. It's a good overall idea. The problem is, this was recommended probably not only by me, but by other people as well. But I know I specifically recommended it years ago, but with Southold, which is more akin to our neck of the woods, where the overlap of control, and I hate that word, I'm going to use care, of the creatures in the area would be more apropos than Brookhaven. I know of Dory Schofield's reputation, having spoken to her over the years on the phone several times, and they are very blessed to have her there. And I've seen her on TV as well, but I have not met her personally. So if that would happen, that might very well be a good thing. But have you had any discussions with Southold in regard
Yes.
to a comparable?
I have with Supervisor Russell. They don't control that shelter. And at the time, and this goes back a year.
Actually, going back up a bit again.
But the time that I spoke to him, it was about this time last year, they had their own issues to deal with, and I don't know what they are. I just know that they have their own issues with the shelter. So,
Well, have you been to that shelter, Sean? Have you been
At
to?
which shelter? Brookhaven?
Southold.
Not Southold, no. I've been to Brookhaven shelter.
No, well, please take a visit to Southold, because it's really important to see how it's maintained.
Yeah, I was there when it was being built. I bet that was different ground.
Jim, yeah.
Take him
I'll bring you
for
up
a
to speed.
show and tell, because
Bring you up to speed on it.
going west, it's just bigger. And as I always thought that that shelter up on Youngs Avenue wasn't really cost effective.
It's
And
not.
that's why I kept recommending, you know, maybe finding a vet who could board, and then you pay it per nose. Basically what you're planning to do with Brookhaven. But if you want dogs, and I haven't heard anything about cats or any other creature in need being adopted by Riverhead residents, you need to keep it a little bit more local, rather than Brookhaven is a bit of a schlep, and it's bigger, and I'm not going to foreclose that this idea is not a good one. I'm very big on saving money and consolidating and making money, working for not-for-profits for many years. But bottom line of the story is, before you jump to that, even with the person running it over there, I think consideration needs to be made for the people in this neck of the woods, for one, the visiting, the adopting, the placing, you know. I mean, I really think that that needs to be broadened out a little bit more. I'm glad I stayed a little bit longer. I learned quite a bit. I would have been disappointed to have found this out in the news review, which has been covering this for years.
We don't tell them anything. You have to really go to, you need a computer.
Really? Well, I don't ever plan to.
You better print her letter, Tim.
Bottom line of the story is, please expand your consideration. Visit, perhaps Southold could help you. Maybe Southampton could help you, because they have a foundation running it. Although I know
Brookhaven's closer than Southampton, I think. Where's Southampton shelter? Oh,
it's
is that
right on
Red-
Flanders Road.
Okay, that's not
Isn't
one
that
over Red.
Yeah,
whatever it is,
Okay.
over there?
I think that the supervisor and the councilman will give that due consideration.
Please do,
Thank
because
you.
the people here need to know that the placement of the little ones that they're placing for whatever reason can happen.
All right.
So it's been an issue.
Thank you.
Never been an issue.
Does anybody else wish to be heard?
Hi, my name is Sue Hanson, Rocky Point, and I have a prepared statement. I wasn't aware that there would be so much attention drawn to the animal shelter today, but I have to say it just boggles the mind how you can take such a small animal shelter as the one that Riverhead has and turn it into such a quagmire and such a complicated thing.
That's why if we send the dogs to Brookhaven, it'd be fantastic, because we don't have to deal with it, and it goes to a shelter that
I'm afraid you're
everyone has admitted has a good director, is a good facility. I don't see a downside to it.
There is a downside, and if you've been to the shelter recently, they have over 200 dogs there, most of which are pit bulls. The shelter kennel attendants wear earmuffs when they walk through the kennels. The sound is deafening. As great a job as Dory is doing, she has got her hands full. And to try to throw another municipality on top of what she's already dealing with, it's just not going to work.
I think it's going to work fine if they'll
We'll
do
see.
it. It's 10. You're talking about
I'll proceed
less than
with
10%.
I'll
Their
proceed with my
population-
statement.
Okay, let me just finish. Their population,
This is
we
the
would
public
represent
comment
less
section
than
of the meeting,
10%.
correct?
Well, you ask a question.
I'm not, but
You
I wish
brought
to
the
make a
issue
public
up.
comment, and quite honestly, I've gotten a lot of
Go
lip
ahead,
service
bring
from
your
the town
comment up.
board, and
I
what I'd
will-
rather see is actions.
Go right ahead.
Thank you. Okay, today is day number 70 since Bruno, a dog at the Riverhead Animal Shelter, was killed, and still no one has been held accountable. In 2005, the town board passed a resolution and a euthanasia policy for dogs at the shelter. The essence of the policy was, and I quote, "The questionable animal must be deemed aggressive and beyond rehabilitation." Those exact words are in the policy twice. The questionable animal must be deemed aggressive and beyond rehabilitation by an animal control officer, and it's there a second time. The questionable animal must be deemed aggressive and beyond rehabilitation by a veterinarian. The policy was a farce because there are no procedures in place to assess behavior, and nothing was being done in the way of rehabilitation. If a dog came into the shelter, management, at their sole discretion, could put the dog, quote, in the back, where interaction was minimal. Days, weeks, months could pass in virtual isolation. And as long as 2 people signed a piece of paper, the dog would be killed. And this has been used as the policy for euthanizing dogs at the shelter for over 5 years. 2 signatures, that's all it takes. That was all anyone ever focused on. And it appears that was all Supervisor Walter focused on when he was questioned at a town board meeting on December 21st, the day Bruno was euthanized. His reply was, quote, "We follow the policy to the letter of the resolution." Last October, Mr. Walter was quoted in a local newspaper, a local news report on the issue of euthanasia, and stated that as supervisor, he would be willing to make the tough decisions. I have to wonder how tough it was when Mr. Walter authorized Bruno's death. Did he ever speak to anyone about alternatives? Did he even visit the shelter to see the dog firsthand? I spoke to former Animal Control Officer Sean McCabe about a week after the dog was killed. I wanted to know more about Bruno from Sean's perspective. Sean saw the dog regularly and knew him well. Sean told me that on some mornings he would bring Bruno into the office before he left to patrol his regions. He said Bruno was no problem. Bruno would just lie quietly under the desk. We follow the policy to the letter of the resolution. Does that sound like a dog, aggressive and beyond rehabilitation? In the weeks that followed, more information came to light about the circumstances surrounding Bruno's death. The supervisor thought the dog bit a child and that the child was subsequently hospitalized. This information had been provided to him by Animal Control Officer Lou Carnesi and was not true. Apparently, Bruno's owner was separating 2 of his dogs in a fight, and the owner, not a child, suffered a minor abrasion. Bruno may not have even bitten anyone. It's not clear if Bruno was the dog that bit the owner. On December 20th, the night before Bruno died, Chief of Police David Hagemiller stated that the dog's death was urgent. It is
You
not
just wrap it
clear,
up. We
excuse
give the
me.
We give you the 5 minutes. You're just about at the 5 minutes.
I'm not
If you could
done.
wrap it up. I know, but we give 5 minutes for public comment. If you could
It
wrap
is
it up.
not clear if the chief of police was given the same false information as the supervisor. If he was, then it stands to reason that the animal control officer should be dismissed. Clearly, lying to the town supervisor and the chief of police would be a serious offense. If, however, he was not, if in fact the chief of police was aware of the circumstances and still authorized this fatal decision, or worse, in any way encouraged it, then not only is the animal control officer to blame, but so is the chief of police. And both need to be disciplined accordingly. And the first course of action should be their complete removal from all responsibilities involving the animal shelter. And if at any time the supervisor, either explicitly or implicitly, gave the chief of police his blessing to run the shelter as he saw fit, then the supervisor should share the blame as well. A Few Good Men was a movie with the age-old theme of right
I'm going to
and
ask
wrong.
you to wrap it up. It's been 5 minutes. This has
And
been discussed to death.
accountability.
We're going to ask you to wrap it up.
It seems this town board could benefit from the story, particularly the end. And I would suggest you all watch it. And remember, Bruno is dead.
Thank you. Anybody else like to be heard this evening? There being nobody, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion we adjourn town
All
board
in
meeting.
favor? Aye.
No, I want to go.
Thank you.
I want to stay.
You want to stay?
I want to stay.
Oh, good.